That means there is such a thing as counterfeit dhamma. Although we think that it is the Buddha's teachings, it comes under the name of Buddhism and the Buddha's teachings and all that. But it is counterfeit stuff. It is not the real original teachings of the Buddha. A lot of people don't realize this. Buddha continued, just as Kassapa, gold does not disappear so long as counterfeit gold has not arisen in the world. But when counterfeit gold arises, then true gold disappears. So the true Dhamma does not disappear so long as a counterfeit of the true Dhamma has not arisen in the world. But when a counterfeit of the true Dhamma arises in the world, then the true Dhamma disappears. It is not the earth element Kassapa that causes the true Dhamma to disappear, nor the water element, nor the heat element, nor the air element. It is the senseless people who arise right here who cause the true Dhamma to disappear. Stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha is saying just like there is counterfeit gold, so there is counterfeit Dhamma, and the world does not cause the Dhamma to disappear. The earth element, water, heat and air element does not cause the Dhamma to disappear, but it is the senseless people who arise here who cause the true Dhamma to disappear. What the Buddha means is that monks who arise in the Sangha, senseless monks who cause the true Dhamma to disappear. I'll explain here a bit. What do you mean by counterfeit Dhamma? Counterfeit Dhamma is the writings of later monks who say a lot of things that are contradictory to what the Buddha said in his original teachings. So that's why it causes the people to be confused, and so causes the true Dhamma to disappear. In the suttas, you find the Buddha said that if any monk says that such and such is the Buddha's teachings, you have to compare them with the suttas and the Vinaya. Meaning the original suttas and the original Vinaya. So, and the suttas generally most people accept that the earliest discourses of the Buddha are found in the four Nikayas, the Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya and Anguttara Nikaya. And the last Nikaya, the Khuddaka Nikaya, only about 6 books there out of the 15 are reliable in that they do not contradict the earlier 4 Nikayas. So this is the true Dhamma that Buddha means. And the Vinaya is more applicable to monks and nuns. So the Buddha said in somewhere in one of the discourses that we should not add to his words and we should not subtract from his words. His teachings are perfect. It is always said that the Buddha's teaching of the Dhamma is perfect and there is no reason to add to it or subtract from it. So, but unfortunately, as the Buddha calls these senseless people, later disciples who write later books. And what are these later books? Firstly, you have the Mahayana Sutras. Mahayana Sutras, generally, everybody knows that they appeared 500 years after the Buddha passed away. And the monks who started these sutras are like this Nagarjuna, Vasubandhu, Aspaghosal. And in the biography of this Nagarjuna, he admitted that he was asked, how is it that formerly there were no such sutras and now you claim that these are the words of the Buddha? And he said he went into the ocean, into the deep ocean, into the dragon palace and took out all these books which the Buddha had hidden away. But then we know during the Buddha's time there were no books, so how could the Buddha have hidden away his teachings in books? Secondly, the Buddha said that his teachings, true Dhamma, is open for everybody to investigate. Only deviant Dhamma is hidden away, is secretive. The true Dhamma, there's no reason to hide it. So we do not accept that these later sutras are the words of the Buddha. That's one source of counterfeit Dhamma. Another one is the abidhamma. Abidhamma, although there are 7 books there, some of them can be said to agree with the earliest teachings of the Buddha, but there are a few books out of the 7 that have new concepts. The abidhamma, there are a lot of new teachings which the Buddha never taught, like kalapa, javana, rebirth consciousness, and all these things which are never mentioned by the Buddha in the earliest discourses. And some of the things in the abidhamma, they do not quite agree with the earliest suttas. But for this, you have to investigate before you realize that. Some of the contradictions I have mentioned in my book, Samatha and Vipassana. Another source of counterfeit Dhamma is the commentaries. Commentaries are supposed to help us understand the Buddha's suttas. They are supposed to explain difficult points. But the problem is a lot of the comments and the commentaries are simply out. They not only don't help us, but they give us contradictory teachings. For example, after you find out, you'll see that the Buddha said one of the causes for the disappearance of the true Dhamma is disrespect for samadhi. And nowadays, in the commentaries, it is said that you can attain liberation, arahanthood, without the 4 jhanas. In fact, without any jhana at all. This simply contradicts the suttas. In the Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha said it is impossible to eliminate the 5 lower fetters, meaning either anagamin or arahant, without attaining the 4 jhanas. So these are some of the books. In addition to this, there are some other later books. Although they contain some Dhamma, there is a sprinkling of adhamma, what is contradictory to the earliest teachings. So unless you are familiar with the earliest discourses of the Buddha, you are going to be led astray. That's why the Buddha calls these later disciples senseless people who arise in the Sangha. Afterwards, there's more of this to come. The Buddha continued. The true Dhamma does not disappear all at once in the way a ship sinks. There are kasapa, 5 detrimental things that lead to the decay and disappearance of the true Dhamma. What are the 5? Here monks. Here the monks, nuns, the male lay followers, the female lay followers dwell without reverence and deference towards the teacher. They dwell without reverence and deference towards the Dhamma. They dwell without reverence and deference towards the Sangha. They dwell without reverence and deference towards the training. They dwell without reverence and deference towards concentration. These kasapa are the 5 detrimental things that lead to the decay and disappearance of the true Dhamma. Let's stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha says there are 5 things, 5 main causes for the disappearance of the true Dhamma. One is people have no respect. The community of monks and nuns and lay people have no respect towards the Buddha. How is it they have no respect towards the Buddha? Maybe instead of being respectful towards the Buddha, they talk about other Buddhas, which there is no point in talking about other Buddhas, because we already have a Buddha now in our time. And then the second one, no reverence for Dhamma. Dhamma meaning the suttas and the Vinaya. So instead of studying and investigating, later we'll come to one chapter where the Buddha said that because people do not investigate the suttas, instead they listen to the words of disciples, meaning later monks, and so that will cause the suttas to disappear. So this is disrespect for the Dhamma. They dwell without respect for the Sangha. This one also, there is probably a reason for it, that the Sangha of monks, they do not behave properly, do not practice according to the Dhamma and the Vinaya. So people lose respect, and when people lose respect, the support for the sasana, the religion, decreases, and that causes the disappearance of the true Dhamma. The fourth, they have no reverence for training. The training generally refers to the training of Sila, Samadhi and Panya. So, in this, the teachings of the Buddha, we are supposed to study the words of the Buddha and train in them. But some people, they have no interest to train in the teachings of the Buddha. This training is especially more important for renunciants, for monks and nuns. Then lastly, they have no reverence for concentration, samadhi. Samadhi in the Buddha's teachings always refer to the four jhanas. Always refer to the four jhanas. In fact, in the Majjhima Nikaya, there's one sutta where Venerable Ananda was asked what type of meditation is praised by the Buddha. And Venerable Ananda said the first jhana, the second jhana, the third and the fourth jhana. So from here you can see Buddhist meditation are the four jhanas. But nowadays people say that Buddhist meditation is vipassana. But vipassana in the suttas has nothing to do with meditation. In the suttas, vipassana is contemplation. That means listening to the Dhamma and digesting it. When you understand the Dhamma, that is vipassana, contemplation. And both of these conditions are necessary, samatha and vipassana. Concentration and contemplation, both are necessary for liberation. So here he says, now this last reason for disappearance of the true Dhamma is people have no respect for jhana, concentration. So you find nowadays some monks saying, what's the use of jhana? When you dwell in jhana, you have no mindfulness. This utter rubbish. Shows a total ignorance of the suttas.